Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Around South Jersey. We have a special guest tonight who wears two hats. First, we're going to talk about his new hat, which is the Assenblyman for the 3rd Legislative District. And, of course, he and his dad started Ranch Hope for Boys, and we're going to talk about that as well. Dave, it's good to see you.
Jim, always a pleasure. I feel like I'm coming home.
Well, it's nice to have you here. In fact, Dave walked in with this nice legislative shirt on and all that stuff. And I said, my God, Dave, you look great. And he said, how can you put on weight? He's in super shape. He's my idol. You know, he goes, oh, well, I probably should lose 10 pounds or something.
Thank you. Thank you.
But it's good to see you. So this will be the end of your first term?
That's correct. Yeah, we're coming down to the end of our first term and looking forward to our second term.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this guy's credit, he goes out and walks, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we're knocking on a lot of doors.
I give you credit because, honestly, the Republicans in this area, they do a phenomenal job. They got Mike Donato pushing them to get out there and walk. As a Democrat, I got to be honest with you, I was lazy. I didn't walk much. So I guess that's why the Democrats are out in Cumberland County. But thank God for you and John Berzicelli and Heather Simmons as your running mate, right?
Yeah, we have a great team, and what an honor and privilege it has been. This was everything I imagined it to be and more. It's been just an incredible experience, and one that I hope to be given the opportunity to continue on. I know that we've made a difference. I know that we've worked extremely hard. Heather Simmons is an extremely hard-working individual who came with a great deal of experience at the commissioner level, and as a businesswoman and as a leader in higher education. We know the track record of Senator John Berzicelli.
He's my idol.
He is just the captain of all captains on our team, and allows us to be ourselves, as well as there to be a great mentor and leader amongst our team, not only in the Senate, where he is automatically was seen as a leader when he got back into the legislature, but certainly locally and throughout this area.
Yeah, he's a fantastic person. I've always enjoyed John. He's had some really good common sense things. We've talked about liquor licenses and, trying to make it a little more practical for those, where they're, and I know when I was mayor of Millville, liquor licenses from the corner bar were going for $250,000, $400,000 to, the chain restaurants that came in.
Yeah.
And Texas Roadhouse, and then the other steak place, which is good as well. So that pushed the price up. And John had some really great ideas about that. The one thing that's interesting this year is you don't have John on your ticket.
Yeah, but we do. I mean, he's always there. Now he's not up for re-election this year. We have 2 more years that we have him. But that's the beauty of and I don't know how other legislators do it. They're by themselves or in a split ticket. Very difficult situation. What a blessing to be on a team where we know. I talk to John every day, sometimes several times a day, as well as Heather.
Tell him to call me with you.
He's tough to. I'm always thankful when he takes my call, and he gives me some time to discuss the various things that are happening. Most of the time, it's basic. Where we got this call from this constituent, and how do we work through this specific situation or this difficult situation where they're looking for answers, because the majority of our time as legislators are spent on homegrown issues that are happening, where someone has called and said, I have a veteran in my family, or I have a situation who someone is disabled, or something, or I need a real ID. How do I work through that? We've had tremendous success with. Especially with bringing the mobile DMV unit out into our district, where people can come to locations to the mobile DMV, so you don't have to go to the actual office. We come to you, or you can come there. And we've had people not only from our district, from all over South Jersey, that have come and made use of that specific opportunity.
That's really nice. I've been lucky. I have a good friend that runs the Violent Motor Vehicle, Mike Magazoo, who's super. And
absolutely.
I was able to get my real ID through there, and it was very convenient, very nice that they did that. And of course, that's something that I guess have to have that now, right? Pretty much.
We don't have to have it, but it certainly is helpful. If you do not have a passport, to be able to travel here in the United States, you have to have the real ID to be able to. And then I just heard today that the Philadelphia airport is moving away from having you take your shoes off.
Oh, that's
so there's
good.
that added aspect from the TSA along those lines. But Jim, today's a special day for me personally. Two pieces of legislation that I had put forward were signed into law by Governor Murphy today.
Congratulations!
So very, very excited about that.
So tell me about those.
So this time last year, we were, all of us, myself included, as a constituent, were hit with rising energy costs.
Oh,
and
gosh, tell me. Yeah.
Right, we were seeing the spike, and we were hearing this unbelievable news that not only were we getting hit with the high costs now, but we were going to realize these highest costs moving forward throughout the region. And so we went into action, and we said we started to hold hearings, and we started to ask questions. And it's been a tremendous, one of the great opportunities that I have had as in my first year in the legislature was I was placed on two excellent committees. The Telecommunication Utility Committee, which is energy, as well as technology. And then transportation, again, a huge need here in our region. So I've had a front row seat.
That's super.
To these committee hearings, to speaking with and asking questions of our utility companies, experts in the area of energy, renewable energy, and energy as a whole, the BPU. And so I put forward a bill called the Energy Watch Bill, of which John did the same on the Senate. And it basically was to give you more information about your energy costs and what was happening. And not only, we certainly get our bills every month and we can read them, we can see how much energy that we're utilizing and what the cost of it is, but we wanted to be able to give our constituents more of a heads up with what was happening. When it was spiking, both from a usage standpoint or a cost standpoint, you should know that so you can better manage and better be a stronger consumer from your rights of how you handle whether maybe you didn't realize that your AC was running cooler than it needed to be, or you were going on vacation and how to handle, or your heat during the wintertime. And so we were excited to be able to be able to provide that. The second piece, and I think it's near and dear to your heart from some conversations we've had recently, is this growth of data centers that we're seeing.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about it. We want data centers in New Jersey. We see the future. We want to be a hub. So New Jersey has invested $500 million in incentives for data centers to come to New Jersey under the Murphy administration. But as someone who also wants to make sure that we have guardrails, we know several things about data centers. While they are tremendous as bringing additional information and the future of AI technology here, they also use a lot of energy. They also use a lot of water, and they use a lot of our resources. And so we've got to be smart and have smart growth in how data centers come into play, especially because we have great assets in land here.
Yeah, especially Salem County. And
Salem County, Cumberland County, South Jersey as a whole.
Yeah,
great.
Right.
In particular for the growth of data centers. So we want to see them, but we want to, just like warehouses, we want to make sure that we get ahead of the curve on this and make sure that we have all the information and our strategies are where they need to be, so that the ultimate cost of data centers isn't coming back on us as consumers and as people who are going to have to foot the bill. And we don't want our consumers, our constituents, to be footing the bill. We want to make sure that the data center companies and those that provide energy are smartly putting that plan together.
Well, the one good thing that you've got going for you in Salem County is you have PSE&G.
100%.
We have Atlantic Electric, and they, like, actually where I'm located, I had a person who was discussing putting in a data center in Upper Deerfield, and unfortunately at the last moment he pulled out on it. I have somebody else now that's interested. But the concern was we have to go and see if PSE&G can help because Atlantic Electric can't do it. I have a solar field there, for heaven's sakes. And it's like, I don't know what we can do, for the solar field. It's like, okay. I mean, and what is tough, because you do need a lot of electric. There's no question. It needs to be generated, and Atlantic Electric couldn't handle it. They're putting in a big data center over on Lincoln Avenue in Vineland, John Ruga. Mm-hmm. Now, Vineland Electric is great, but I think they also buy their electric from some other source rather than
supplier. That's correct.
Generating themselves.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about Vineland Electric is if you want to locate a business in Vineland, you get the best rates with Vinyl Electric, and of course they have the UEZ and all those good things that are going on. We're talking with Assenblyman, Dave Bailey, and he just changed so much. He looks so good, I can't remember. It's Dave Bailey. But we'll be back to talk more about the Senate and the Assembly race that's coming up, and we'll do all that right after these messages.
Many people treat their health like a game. With Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Just select from our specialties and schedule online, by phone, or on our app. Our entire team communicates with one another, so everyone works together on your total health. Plus, we make it even easier with all of these additional benefits. Level up your health with us. Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great health care for everyone.
C&H Disposal Service has provided customers with the best customer service possible since 1981. C&H Disposal Service provides trash removal, dumpster rentals, septic cleaning, repair and installation, septic system certifications, portable restroom rentals, and demolition. With great customer service and competitive pricing, C&H Disposal Service has you covered at the home and on the job. C&H Disposal Service. Stick with the best.
welcome back to Around South Jersey. My special guest is Dave Bailey, who is currently the Assenblyman for the 3rd Legislative District. And Dave, that takes in part of Cumberland County. I know Upper Deerfield, Shiloh, Stowe Creek, Greenwich, and Hopewell, right?
Yeah. Had lunch in Hopewell today.
Did you?
I did.
The Green
Olive.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. They have a place right on the Millville-Vineland line as well. And the Winfield's closed in Millville, so a lot of my friends and everybody, they'd go there and, get together and talk. So now if you go to the Green Olive right on the Millville-Vineland line, the front part, when you go in, you go to the left, there's the bar and there's high top tables, and it is packed with Millville people. And they do a nice job. They really do. And they do it Hopewell as well. So
they do. Yeah, I had a nice chicken salad sandwich this morning. This afternoon.
That's good. That's one of my favorite things too. So one of the things that we have to look at this year with you and Heather Simmons running, you'll be tied with Mikey Sherrill. Mikey Sherrill. I've been impressed what I've seen of that lady. Wow, she really's got her act together. And not the saying, and you and I off before we came back home, we're talking about Jack Chittarelli, who has tied his horse to Donald Trump. I mean, Trump is supporting him, and Jack Chittarelli did well last time. And New Jersey's supposed to be a blue state, but to the Republicans' credit, they've made some inroads, and it'll probably be a pretty close race, I would think.
Well, the thing that we always remind ourselves, especially in the 3rd Legislative District, we are our own location. We are very different than most other districts in the state of New Jersey. And there's 38 municipalities, as you mentioned, 38 different towns within our municipality. That's a lot of 4th of July parades. But but we love every one of them. But we're very rural.
Yeah.
And I think that's what allows Heather and I to stand out, is that we have held near and dear to our rural values and what makes our district special. I'm born and raised in Salem County. Dad used to always say I was Salem County born, Salem County bred, and when I die, I'll be Salem County dead. And so I've born and raised in the little town of Alloway.
I love Alloway.
Still, I work there every day, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later at Ranch Hope. So I travel through Alloway every day. Raised my family in Woodstown, right 6 miles down the road.
That's a great town.
Woodstown High, as I was, class of '85.
Oh, that's good.
Woodstown High grad. And so I know Salem County. I know the people of Salem County. They know me. They see me in the Acme. They've known me my whole life. They've raised me. And so it's easy for me to understand what's near and dear to their hearts. And so I know that open space is important to them.
Yeah.
I know that keeping our farming communities safe and thriving is important to them. I just was able to put in and find monies for the Woodstown FFA program. So I've known that my whole life and supporting them in their new ag science program, that building that they're putting forth. I know what it means to work hard and lead the middle class life that is important to Salem County along those lines. I know that gun rights are important to Salem Countyans. And so all these things are what makes it important for our voice to be in the State House, because I've learned a lot in this first year and a half, Jim, but if I've learned anything, it's that is real. That making sure that we have that voice is real, because there are so many other voices. There are many, many other mouths at the trough that want to be fed.
Yeah.
And they will quickly forget not only about South Jersey, but especially about our rural Gloucester, Salem, and Cumberland County district municipalities. So we have fought hard. We've brought money back to this district. We've brought the voice back as far as legislation. I just mentioned to you that a local vineyard owner, young guy who's also a member of the National Guard, said to me, Dave, there's a problem. We don't get notified. Our small local businesses are not being notified electronically. We're still getting snail mail. Yeah. And so when I'm outside the country, serving our country in the National Guard, and I'm now getting fines levied upon my small business because I didn't know something, that I was out of the country, we need to do something about this. So I'm very proud that I passed legislation that is brought electronic notification to the forefront moving forward in New Jersey. And so to support the Matt Cassidys of the world and the Salem County, Salem Oak Vineyards of the world. So I'm very proud of that voice. I'm very proud of what we've been able to do in this first 18 months in serving our 3rd Legislative District.
So I know all of Salem County is in the 3rd Legislative District. We talked about the townships in Cumberland County that are in it. Everything west of Bridgeton is basically there, plus Upper Deerfield and Deerfield. And now, what about Gloucester County?
So 16
places.
Districts, and some everything. If it's the easiest to think about is almost all the municipalities to the right as you go down south, down 295. When you cross from Westville,
right,
all the way down to Logan and Woolwich. Then we also to the further east, we also have Pittman and Glassboro, Clayton, and a couple of those municipalities over in that direction. But the easiest way to look at it is as you head down 295 south, everything to the right over on that direction.
You know, it was interesting. I had Ben Laurie on with me, and I have a friend who lives in one of those 55 and over communities in Elk Township, I think. And as you drive, and they're building like crazy up there. Oh my goodness, hundreds of homes all over the place. And Ben said to me, which makes sense, he said, Jim, once you get past all those homes and you see the beautiful open fields, now you're in Salem County.
That's right.
Which is good. I mean, I know Salem County's 60,000, small county populace-wise, but it offers so many wonderful things for farming, for warehousing, and open space. And I think people in Salem County and even in Cumberland, I think we enjoy the open space. You know, I don't like being on top of everything and being congested and all that stuff. But as I say, from what I've seen in Elk Township and south of Glassboro and all that, they are booming with those 55 and over communities and regular housing communities as well, which you have to have also. But it's interesting, like you said, on 55, if you look to the right, you know, you see them then over from that way, further, I guess, west? Yeah, further west is Salem County to the river.
And I think I misspoke. 36 municipalities. I think I said 38. So, you know, but it's a tough balance, right?
Yeah.
Because I love our the rural nature of where we live, but we still need to keep our schools going. So we need people to move in. We need those young families to be here to bring kids into the school, to keep the school districts going. We need our ratables.
Yep.
And so I can see where it was an easy response on the warehouse front, but with warehouses, bring more trucks, bring more traffic. Issues with our infrastructure, to our roads, and things along those lines. And so that's why it's even more important now as we look toward the next piece of growth, which are data centers. You know, we have to remember they use a lot of water as well in cooling the data centers. You know, I think of my hometown of Woodstown. Well, we have 2 well systems and aqueducts that we pull from for water in Woodstown. There's only so much water, and then you get limited with how much you can have. So you've got to keep an eye on how much water and different pieces of the infrastructure that these companies. They're going to bring ratables. They're going to bring short-term jobs with construction, things like that. All great things for our economy. But we've got to make sure that we're being smart as we strategize and look at these new opportunities.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It really is. You know, Salem County has so many unique things. I mean, I said to Dave, I was a special ed teacher, then I became a speech therapist. And this was interesting. Back in the 70s, every school district had to have a speech therapist. Well, I'm working at Alloway 1 day a week, Elk Township 1 day a week, Woodbine 1 day a week, Mercer Township, Lawrence Township. And then eventually ended up Hopewell and Deerfield 2 days a week. But, you know, they had to have somebody on call to do it. And to be realistic with you, how much could I accomplish 1 day a week with the kids? But they covered their stuff that they had to have. But I enjoyed meeting a lot of wonderful people.
Absolutely.
You know, and Alloway. Now, remind me, I used to deliver sand for my dad in the summertime to the lumberyard in Alloway.
Yeah, so Cobb's Mill may have been one of the lumber yards, but Smick Lumber was in Quinton Township.
No, but there was one in Alloway.
There's a brickyard in maybe going to the brickyard in Alloway.
I know I'd go right down the main street of Alloway and dump the sand, but it's funny. I was like 17 or 18 working at a summer driving truck for my dad. And this one place, geez, I can't remember, but they had the old-fashioned soda machine, and I loved that. That was out front of the older facility. But I've been to Schmick, that's in Quinton. This was something.
Miss Harold, certainly along those lines, and it's it's just that again, it's that balance. We say that we love our and I came through the Alloway school system, K through 8, there in Alloway, but we also want to make sure that we have the same opportunities as a Washington Township or other.
Sure.
We want to make sure we have speech therapy. If my child needs speech therapy, I want to make sure that they have speech therapy. I kind of make the analogy of travel baseball. Well, we want to make sure that we have the best bat, because that's what's going to make our child a better hitter. We want to make sure they have the best glove. We want to make sure that they have everything that everybody else has. And so there's that balance in that part of it. And I've lived that, with my kids.
Did you play baseball?
That was my first love.
What position?
I was a second baseman. I played for the Hall of Fame South Jersey baseball coach Lee Ware
at
Woodstown
what
High.
A great guy. Oh, that's right. I forgot about
it.
In
fact, it's funny, Coach. Don't get upset with me if you see this, but some former players and I were just talking about it yesterday. We were seeing how he's still on the list of all-time wins in New Jersey coaching, but he actually is the leader in all-time losses. He coached so many times, so many games. He may be the leader in all-time losses. And I was like, we don't bring that up very often.
Was he a county commissioner?
He was a freeholder.
Yeah, because I thought when I was a freeholder, he was a freeholder.
So his brother Clint, again, a legendary football coach in Woodstown, and then a freeholder director.
Yeah.
Clint, unfortunately, left us way too early with ALS. And so then Lee took his place on the freeholder board and later commissioner, and just stepped down a few years ago. But I talk to Coach probably once a month at least, sometimes more than that. And he's still on the farm over in Elsinboro, and he's doing well.
That's great. What a great guy, really.
Great mentor. Great mentor.
We're talking with Assenblyman. I want you to know, with the Rancho for Boys, Dave Bailey, and of course, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about government, and then we'll talk about everything happening great at Ranch Hope for Boys. And we'll do all that right after these messages.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. With more than 41 years of service to our valued customers, Advanced Treads in Norman, New Jersey is South Jersey's full-service distributor of General Tires. We feature a complete line of passenger vehicle tires, light truck, farm, and commercial tires. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tires, anywhere is possible. Advanced Treads, 1325 West Landis Avenue in Norman, New Jersey. Call them today at 856-696-5004. When you need tires, there is only one name you can trust: Advanced Treads of Norman, New Jersey.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. Dave Bailey, my special guest, who is a 3rd Legislative Assemblyman for the 3rd District. And Dave, what got you interested in getting involved in government?
So, as we're going to talk about in a little bit, my career has been, my life really has been in the area of service to children, youth, and families, being raised in a family as I was. And so, throughout my different roles within the Ranch Hope ministry, I had to go to Trenton quite often and advocate for legislation or advocate for funding. I was on the board of the New Jersey Alliance for Children, Youth, and Families, and I was the chairperson of their government relations committee. So I spent a lot of time with legislators, in both on the Senate and the Assembly side. I was thankful. Frankly, you look back and you see how your steps were ordered. And I was thankful that I was able to have a friendship with Senate President Steve Sweeney, and at the time, Assenblyman John Berticelli and Assenblyman Doug Fisher, and then Assenblyman Adam Talfero, and
was Celeste
Assemblywoman Celeste Riley. Thank you, still a great friend. And so they were just so willing to share information with me, to share time with me, to allow me to come up and visit the State House, to introduce me to legislators who now I'm peers with and get to see all the time. It's just, I pinch myself, frankly, at times. And the information that I was privy to, the opportunity to have access to commissioners, to have access to people. And so I was very comfortable in that role. And so when the opportunity arose, I was actually in Ice and Coal Hardware store in Woodstown, New Jersey, buying I was trying to fix a bathroom sink, Jim, because that's what, I don't have a lot of knowledge in that area, but I can fix a few things. Thankfully for my background in HVAC in college, I can do a few things where I'm dangerous.
Jeez, I should have called you.
You should have called me.
Problems now.
Yeah, I could fix a toilet. I could fix a sink.
Well, I can't fix anything. So
a Democratic leader saw me in there and said, "Hey, an opportunity may arise. Would you be interested in having the conversation?" And I said, "Well, number one, let me go home and talk to my lovely wife Julie, and make sure that she's on board." Our children were in their 20s. Our youngest was finishing up college. The timing was right. And, of course, I had to talk to my board at Ranch Hope and make sure everybody was on board there, pardon the pun. And so really it was being an advocate, also seeing unfunded mandates year after year after year and trying to run a nonprofit organization and saying enough is enough, and we need somebody at the table who gets it, and I think I do. Who can understand the conversations and bring some realistic thinking to the table. And so hopefully the people have seen that in my first year and a half.
That's super. Well, I mean, in all honesty, you've had great name recognition. Everyone loved your dad with the same name. And I did have the honor of attending his father's viewing. And that was February, a year and a half ago, about.
Mid-February.
Yeah, and let me tell you, folks, people love Dave Bailey Sr. I got there with a friend of mine, and we did get inside. But when we came outside, it was at least 2 to 3 blocks long waiting to get in to pay respects to his dad, Dave Sr., who everybody loved. One of the finest sermon givers I ever heard. And he was all over South Jersey.
He had a gift.
He did,
yeah. I'm thankful. I'll be actually speaking in North Cape May this Sunday on behalf of the ranch. Nice. I don't have his gift, nor do I come in on horseback.
You do pretty well, though. Come on, give yourself some credit here, pal.
But what an honor and a privilege and a blessing to have had him as my father. And as we said to our own family that day, and all of us experience this when we have a loved one that's passed. Really, those situations, you are there for others.
Yeah.
You're there to help them mourn, and you're there to share stories and share experiences and share memories, and so you really have to have a stiff upper lip and be there for other people and work your way through those situations. But it was a tremendous blessing, the number of people that showed up. Yes.
It's interesting about your family. Do you have brothers or sisters?
I do. I have 2 older sisters. My oldest sister, Leanne, went home to be with the Lord when she was 10. When we were youngsters.
Oh my God! I'm so
if you
sorry.
come on the Ranch Hope campus, our chapel is named in memory of Leanne.
Oh.
And then I have an older sister, Liz, who tremendously talented lady who her career was in teaching. She was a middle school teacher. For most of her career was down in Brigantine at Brigantine Elementary School. She retired about 4 years ago, if memory serves, although my wife always says, don't throw dates out. I'm always wrong. And then she joined our team at Ranch Hope because she had a master's degree in public relations. And so she's part-time, a few days a week, and she works in our development office. She doesn't work directly for me. We are very, very strict about chain of command. and she works in our development office in fundraising and volunteers, works with our volunteer auxiliary members and keeps them straight. And it's just been a joy to have Liz as a part of our team at Ranch Hope. And so, yes, 2 older sisters. Then I came along 7 years later, and I was the baby of the family, and thankful to have had the experience of being raised and on the Ranch Hope campus, and knowing so many young men who had gone through that the changing and the healing aspect of that, but calling them my older brothers at the time, and now I see them as my sons.
Oh, that's wonderful. So let's move into what wonderful things. When did Dad start Ranch Hope for Boys?
So actually, the Ranch Hope Incorporated was actually founded in 1962. The property was purchased by my mom and dad with the help of so many local families and members of their local churches throughout South Jersey that joined the team, local, and formed the first board. A local dairy farmer by the name of Hiram Strang, he and his wife Florence gave my dad the original seed money to purchase the farm there in Alloway Township. And so the farm and Ranch Hope Incorporated, many people know us as Ranch Hope for Boys, but actually it is incorporated as Ranch Hope Incorporated, which was a lot of foresight for what some of the things that we're doing now. And so it was purchased, but the first 12 young men, came to Ranch Hope on May the 5th, 1964. Wow. So we use 1964, May the 5th, as our actual anniversary date, because that's when the actual ministry portion of Ranch Hope started. Although we were incorporated in 1962, we used 1964 as the anniversary date. So we're in our 61st year of serving children, youth, and families from throughout New Jersey.
You ever take a number of how many kids you've helped over those periods?
Over 5,000 children have been served. And now in the area of youth that we serve on our campus, in our treatment homes, on the high-end trauma-informed mental health area is very low. We only serve up to 50 children. But with those types of services, that's actually a lot of young men. Yeah. But as far as sheer numbers, we've really branched out in our community-based services, summer camps, leadership type programming. Now we're branching out into serving youth in Salem City, and we're working in the area of food scarcity, and we have a lot of things on the horizon in working in Salem City and beyond, and building some models there with some great corporate partners, with partnering with the authority here in Cumberland County.
Yeah, I'm glad
and Jerry Velasquez and his team. And we've just been very, very blessed with some of the new things that are happening in the future as we see Ranch Hope Incorporated.
That's wonderful. And I mean, I know all of the good things you do for troubled youth, and it's great to have. And what a great location for the kids to get out of the cities, to come out into the country. And, I'm sure they love being in the country and all the help that they're able to get. Now, you have a school, and approximately how many teachers do you have?
Yeah, so all the core curriculum teachers, and then it's some additional, we have additional aides, and we have some vocational teaching as well. But all told, so what Jim is alluding to is on our Alloway campus, it is an actual community. It's a healing community. So every aspect of a community is there. And so the children live on site with us, and we have over 200 full-time staff members throughout the organization.
Yeah, I'm sure you need that. Yeah.
And then we have our own private special education school, but within that private special education component, we also have regular ed component of what we do. We do some of those things virtually. Some of those classes are virtual.
Oh, that's good.
So all of our science, math, social studies, English, life skills curriculum as well. So all those have not only dually certified special education teachers, but also teachers that meet the core curriculum standards of that particular curriculum area as well. And then we have not only at the high school level, but also at the middle school level.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So we have the youth that live on our Alloway campus are anywhere from 12 years of age through 16 years of age at intake, but we have youth that stay up through 18.
Gotcha.
As well.
So they can graduate at 18.
They do. In fact, we just had a young man that graduated, from high school. Most of the youth that graduated this year were rising 8th graders, but we did have one youth that was graduating from high school as well.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. That really works out well.
Yeah.
We're talking with Dave Bailey, who is the Executive Director at the Ranch Hope for Boys and one of our favorite Assenblymen for the 3rd Legislative District. We're back to talk more with Dave right after these messages.
Many people treat their health like a game. With the Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Our mental health services focus on the emotions and behaviors that affect your overall well-being and features psychiatric, counseling, and addiction services, including our exclusive Fresh Start program, designed to help combat the opioid epidemic in our communities, plus all the other specialties you expect from Complete Care. Level up your health with us. The Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great healthcare for everyone.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born right here in America. With more than 41 years of service to our valued customers, Advanced Treads in Norman, New Jersey is South Jersey's full-service distributor of General Tires. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tires, anywhere is possible. Advanced Treads, 1325 West Landis Avenue in Norman, New Jersey. Call them today at 856-696-5004.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. My special guest is Dave Bailey, and he is the Executive Director of the Ranch Hope for Boys in Alloway, New Jersey. And as Dave said, it started in 1964, so 61 years ago. Things were happening, and they still are. And you just keep growing, Dave. I guess things are, well, there's a need, I guess is what's most important.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're gonna kind of hold our breath here as we see some of the things that are happening at the federal level, because they certainly could impact us as a nonprofit as well, and some of the services that we provide. But on the positive front, because we're not going to be able to solve those problems today, but you know, I think back to just last week when our camp season started, our summer camp season, and we led off with our LEADER camp. And LEADER is an acronym for Law Enforcement and Developing Emergency Responders. And so we're just so proud of our relationship with right there at Camp Edge. That's right, as you're seeing on the screen right now. But we're just so proud, and I'm personally proud of the relationship that we've had with law enforcement for the entire history of Ranch Hope. Number one, we've needed to because of the different use in the juvenile justice system that we've worked with. But now to see over 20 years now, we've brought law enforcement together with kids from throughout Salem County and a few Cumberland County kids here and there that attend this week-long camp. Not only are they learning about careers in law enforcement and the ability to get involved as a emergency responder, either by joining their local fire department or their local ambulance corps, but seeing these people as the mentors that they are and the potential for their lives. This year we had a special opportunity to display and highlight our alumni that have come through the camp over the years, that have either gone into the military or are in law enforcement now. So it's just we had a special guest visitor this year, Colonel Patrick Callahan, the head man from New Jersey State Police.
That's fantastic.
Came down with his wife Linda and visited the camp and the campers and shared his own personal testimony and background in law enforcement, and just it was just a tremendous experience for our kids to see the top man in the New Jersey State Police. He had to get to North Jersey in a hurry afterwards, so the state police helicopter flew in and landed on site, so they got to see cool. that, experience that experience. So just a great relationship with state, local law enforcement, and we're just very proud of that camp.
Well, you know what, too, Dave, that all of the communities are finding it's very difficult to get police officers. And I remember even a friend of mine, her son graduated number 1 in the police academy, went to Millville, super kid, great football player and everything else. And I don't think he stayed in Millville 6 months because the Delaware State Police came and offered him a lot more money, and you can't blame him, so he went to Delaware. A lot of the local Millville cops went to the New Jersey State Police, so Millville is really hurting. They're low on the number of officers. To Vineland's credit, they've been paying really good money not to lose their people. That's part of the situation. Yeah. But I guess coming back to what I was saying was the more you could prepare your young men or women, or men in your case, for law enforcement, they'll certainly have an opportunity to work.
And these are all community kids. These aren't kids that are coming to Rancho for mental health. These are community kids, and so we have kids from all over Salem County, and really the really neat thing for me is in the last number of years, Jim, is that we've been able to scholarship and provide some different opportunities for kids from Salem City and Penns Grove and other places that may not have had the opportunity to come to camp. And so you see just the wide variety of kids that are there creating friendships and with law enforcement. And like you said, we really need to instill in our youth these opportunities and career opportunities and see what need is there. Kind of switching hats back, Senator Berticelli and Assemblywoman Heather Simmons and I, we just met with all the chiefs of police in Gloucester County and Salem County with the sheriff from Cumberland County came down as well. And we had these real conversations about the needs on a variety of levels. Laws that are needed, ways that we can assist them out of Trenton, but also the need for recruitment and how do we find more young people that are willing to serve their communities in this capacity. And never has it been more difficult to be in law enforcement, to be a teacher. Just to your point, we see that in recruiting people that want to serve at Rancho, that want to be in the mental health, social work sector. And again, we train them, we get them on the right road, we give them the experience, and then they get cherry picked to go to other organizations along that way. And you can't blame them for that.
No, it is something as I really like Mike Donato, the new sheriff for Cumberland County. And in fact, one of the things that I've seen that Mike is actually doing now in Millville, this is an interesting program. Millville is so low on police officers that Millville has Urban Enterprise Zone money, and they're taking that money and giving it to Mike to have the sheriff's officers patrol the Urban Enterprise Zone in Millville, which is your business districts and up the shopping center, that type of thing. At least it's creative, and it's something that I'm proud of the Millville people, commissioners, to do, because we need presence, especially on High Street, because when the Levoy's open, it's packed, and people are coming out at night. You want to make sure there's some presence around. One thing that I found when I was the mayor, when I first got elected mayor in 1997, we had 19 Special One officers. And they didn't have guns, of course, but they had the uniforms and the power to make arrests. And they took care of the downtown area and even over 2nd, 3rd, 4th Street. Now, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Street, you don't have a gun. You don't want to be on those streets without a gun. So at least with the sheriff's department, they can help out. And it's a creative way, and I think it's a good way.
We've seen some of that creativity in Salem County as well. Got a great relationship with Sheriff Chuck Miller in Salem County, and he's also done some creative things outside of, their main focus is making sure that they're staffing the court systems and the courthouse, and also on the correctional side. But they've also started to get out into the community and got some bike patrols and different things that they've done. They've even done some speed enforcement and traffic enforcement along those lines as well. I kidded him, some other states have their sheriff's department as your local law
Yeah,
enforcement, as we
exactly.
know,
Yeah, they're the top.
we rely
Yeah.
upon our state police
Yeah.
to help us
Yes.
in many of these rural jurisdictions, and they do the best. They do a great job, and they do the best they can, covering a lot of ground.
Yeah, for sure.
On that
Yeah.
front. So we're very, very thankful for our law enforcement here in South Jersey and the great job they do. One of the other areas that we've really started to branch out and started to focus on at Ranch Hope is food scarcity. We're seeing so many of these situations where supermarkets, there are very few in Salem County now. There's an Acme in Pennsville, there's an Acme in Woodstown, there's a market in Pennsgrove, but there is nothing now except for the dollar stores and things like that, and small general stores in Salem City. So we're working on some programming there. We've been very proud of the partnership that we've created with the authority, the Cumberland County Improvement Authority, and their team, and partnering with. So there's more to come. We're going to have some tremendous announcements coming up in the next 6 months or so about some opportunities that are happening. We've been very excited about moving into the area of workforce development, especially with young people in Salem City.
Yeah, that would be super.
And some of the things that we've done with the kids there, and working with them to get their GED or getting jobs and getting their driver's license and some basic things like that, but also getting training and things along those lines. And we've partnered with many of your listeners would also be familiar with Revive South Jersey. That's done a great job in the Bridgeton area and the Hispanic community here in Cumberland County, and we're partnering with them in Salem City as well, and bringing some great activities for youth after school programs. We've brought art therapy to Salem City, and starting to work with some of the middle school there in the area of art therapy. So really some new dynamic ideas and same things that we're working with in outside of our Alloway campus. But after 61 years, some people have said, "Hey, where you been? We need to do some things, some additional things along those lines." So we're very proud of the way that we've collaborated with and with other local nonprofits and bringing some additional services to Salem County.
That's great. Well, Dave, thank you so much for coming over. It's always good to see you.
Jim, thank you.
Keep up the good work, not only for the state of New Jersey, but with Ranch Hope for Boys. Man, wears two hats and wears them both very well. And I certainly wish you well. And tell John Bersicelli I said hello. I'd love to meet, maybe we can get Heather Simmons to come on sometime, because I've never had the pleasure of meeting Heather.
I know that she would love the opportunity, and hold on to your seat, because you're talking about somebody who's a hard worker and just a brilliant mind, and she's doing a lot in the area of women's health care and bringing another strong voice to the State House, and just honored to be on the team with her.
Yeah, it's great to have a woman in the State House.
100%. It's a
it
great
really is.
dynamic voice that we have serving the people of the 3rd Legislative District.
Well, thank you, and thank Heather, and thank John for your service to the 3rd Legislative District. And we thank you for joining us here on Around South Jersey. My special thanks to our producer, George Cuccia, who always does a great job for us. And we'll see you soon, folks. In fact, we'll see you Thursday. We're doing a live telecast from the Queen Diner in Millville, and my guest will be Sheriff Donato. So we talked about him tonight. Anyway, for Dave Bailey, I'm Jim Quinn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.